This is Tom Kleiner, Director of the Westchester-Putnam Workforce Development Board. It's an honor to have all of you joining us today, the members of the board, our partners, our consumers, elected officials, others. David Singer is the chair. So actually, David, if you just bring us to order, and then I'll go in and introduce the meeting if you want to do that.
Absolutely, as soon as my video activates. So I'd like to call this annual meeting of 2021 to order. And Tom, take us over.
Okay, so I'm going to be brief in my introduction because we have a really exciting slideshow that Sherry Brooke from Harkman Graphics has produced in conjunction with all of the staff, many of the staff. That's really terrific, and we look forward to you seeing that. But just as a word of introduction, and this is something that you all know, which is that the pandemic has wreaked havoc on all of us, on the economy, on workforce, especially those who have traditionally had barriers to employment. But that means we're really at a crossroads that presents really unique opportunities for really many of us, all of us really, who have joined the meeting today. So what the crisis has also done, which is really one of the unintended benefits, but a benefit, it has facilitated new collaborations between all levels of government and between community-based organizations and partners. So just as an example, many of those who are on the call, Pattern for Progress has brought together workforce and economic development professionals from the Hudson Valley, including Columbia and Greene counties, to work on workforce. The Westchester County Association Talent Consortium, led by Jason Chapin, has brought together those who want to work on workforce in Westchester-Putnam, Rockland. Business Council of Westchester, through Marcia Gordon and John Ravitz, has continued with their ongoing workforce development efforts, as has nonprofit Westchester, Jan Fisher, who's now a member of our board, and New York State DOL, that we've always collaborated with, but now even more than ever. We'll talk about our virtual career center. Atul Sheffy, our regional manager, will talk about that. Very exciting. And the Westchester County Department of Social Services, under the dynamic new leadership of our new Commissioner Leonard Towns, who's committed to integrating the services available to those most in need. And then finally, Westchester Economic Development, under the leadership of the county exec, but Bridget Gibbons specifically, who has formed Workforce Task Force on Advanced Manufacturing, Biotech, FinTech, Green Jobs, all of these things that are crucial for workforce development. So that's a great opportunity to collaborate, and the state itself, through this Pathways Pledge, that's the focus, a part focus of our meeting today. The governor and the Reimagine NY Commission has come together to create the New York State Pathways Pledge to create more opportunities for those traditionally underserved and to allow the untapped workforce to overcome barriers to employment. And our two county execs, George Latimer and Mary Ellen Odell, will speak to that later in the meeting in terms of how we can implement those things locally. So with that introduction, I want to introduce OJ Yiser, who's, as you know, the manager of our career centers, to kick off a slideshow that just shows some of what we've been doing over the past difficult year.
Good morning, everyone. Though the 4 career centers were technically closed to the public this past program year, our services and programs continue to operate at a very high level. Staff worked on a hybrid schedule with a mix of in-office and remote working. And in some ways, COVID sparked innovation by accelerating the development of virtual orientations, virtual workshops, virtual job fairs, virtual youth town halls, virtual volunteerism, and much more. New technology improved communications, and staff came up with new ideas for connecting and providing services to their customers. Our free tax program helped low-income working individuals and families maximize their tax credits and return. Youth took part in ready and vocational training programs, And in addition, on-the-job training contracts were executed, job seekers registered online, staff were able to recruit for various training programs, including Westchester Community College's Healthcare Career Pathways program. Our business services team handled the increased volume of new job orders, helped employers recruit candidates, and much more. We even implemented the Experience Works program to help employers hire new employees and bring back employees laid off due to the pandemic. The slideshow you are about to watch gives the highlights we hope you enjoy and enjoy this recap of the activities.
All right, I'll call you when I'm finished. Oh wait, I have an interview after, and then I'll call you after that.
Can we have a round of applause for our staff and for Sherry?
Absolutely. That was awesome. Terrific. Wonderful.
Good job.
Yeah, that was great.
And before I turn this over to the next presenter, I would be remiss in one, not thanking our board members for their continued dedication and guidance, to our partners, of course, to my executive director, to Atul Sheffy, DOL manager, Marie Daly, career center manager for Putnam. But most of all, I want to take this time to publicly say, we have the best staff, and I want them to know that we do appreciate all that you do. You are on the front lines day by day, dealing with individuals and their needs and helping them to resolve any issues that are blocking them from returning to work. So, excuse me, thank you for all that you do to our staff. And at this time, I want to introduce Marie Daly. She is the Career Center Manager in Putnam County. Marie.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Our career centers exist to provide programs and services to help the residents of Westchester and Putnam counties. And through customer testimonials annually, we enjoy this opportunity to hear their unique perspectives on their experiences in our centers. This year, we have 3 case studies that demonstrate how our programs can affect positive outcomes in the lives of those that we serve. The first is Elizabeth Resto. She's a Putnam County resident who lost her position of 17 years at Cardis Corporation when it was moved overseas. Fortunately, Elizabeth was qualified for the Trade Adjustment Assistance Program. After Elizabeth, you're going to see a testimonial, which is an example of a collaboration between 2 training providers, 2 employers, and a youth provider to build an apprenticeship program. You will see that through their cooperation and diligence, they are attempting to solve a chronic labor shortage issue in the trades. And the final clip that you're going to see is the result of our youth town hall series, which afforded our youth a voice. This was a collaborative effort amongst 4 youth bureaus. And so before we go with the actual videotape, I just want to thank my staff and my colleagues in Westchester, and special appreciation to Tom Kleiner and Sherry. They're both wonderful. OJ, Mary Kehoe, you're all wonderful, but it really is a pleasure working with all of you. Thank you. And
I was at Cardis Corporation in Danbury, Connecticut for 17 years, 10 years of it as a senior financial analyst. It was pretty big and a lot of people got outsourced. So we already knew that India was the one that they were relocating everybody. I was able to go to Westchester Community College. I went there for 2 years. I graduated with good grades and good GPA, and I'm still searching now for a job. Yeah, I am an older worker, so it was kind of intimidating to me to go now as an unemployed person to go to school or to do anything. I was really, to find another job as an older person is the most difficult thing. What Walenska did for me was make me feel comfortable. She says I can do anything I want, and every time I went there, it was like a smile on her face, whether I was there during our scheduled time or dropping off something. She always came out of her office to give me that welcoming, you know. The funds covered everything, including books and everything. So I was very fortunate that happened. I was happy. And that also hit the Dean's list, by the way.
My name is Charlene Manning. I am pleased to share information about the teamwork with 6 organizations that we are excited about. We believe it is a great example of a collaborative partnership to create a pre-apprentice pipeline. This partnership is an investment of time, perseverance, and diligence. We are so excited about this.
What the Guidance Center Westchester offers us as employers is the opportunity to hire an individual that has already gone through the training, has a really good handle on what the expectations are. And then for us as employers, what I like is that I still have them as career counselors for our folks. So that way, whoever graduates from this program, they can go work for Carmine, they can come work for us, they can come work for someone else. The purpose of putting this together is to grow people and have stability and consistency in talent. We can at least give back, and we can start creating some stability in the trades and take it forward. So whatever Amrita and the Amari have put together and Social Synergy have put together, we can now bundle it up and launch it with other work experience nonprofits.
So Future Works is a construction training and certification program. It's a 5-week program for youth and young adults in Mount Vernon and New Rochelle between the ages of 16 to 24. In that program, participants get certain certifications, including their OSHA 30, flagger, scaffolding, security guard, fundamentals of breathing, CPR. And in the initial stages of the program, we decided to diversify the certification so that the students can have more options. And we contract Social Center to basically run the program.
Carpenter by trade. I was in the local union in New York City. I understood very early on that there's certain skill sets people need to develop so that you can build upon and then grow, right? There's been so many times that I've seen individuals that are gung-ho and they end up leading with their head and they literally fall on their face because the moment that barriers presented or certain skill set that they didn't obtain early on, they lose their footing, right?
I'm here because, 45 years ago, I was in a cooperative program in a trade school when somebody gave me a chance, and if I didn't have that chance, I wouldn't be here. So I have a passion for this. When I first spoke with Future Work, I just thought this was going to be just check a box and talk to the students, but the engagement between the students was pretty remarkable. And, just the foundation you're teaching these students, especially on the safety. In our world, the safety is such a big thing. We just think safety, you wear a hard hat, but there's so many different certifications just to get them in the door, whether they're a 20-year electrician or a first day apprentice. They need those certifications, and you get that with what you're doing, Alex.
But when you're drawing out the same workforce, the people that come into the workforce, it's more of a co-opetition. And what I mean by co-opetition is where the people all have to be trained to understand what needs to get done. And I've met plenty of people that have the same problem. And it's time that somebody really steps up to the plate and says, we have to do this for the industry. It's not about for Candela, it's not about for myself. It's about what the future has to bring for all of us. Because all of us will pay for it at the end of the day if something isn't done.
I put too much faith in my April, asking when will things get back to normal, thinking back to when we thought this would be a break, little did we know, weeks turned into months, turned into mayhem.
COVID-19 affected me because I couldn't do much of the activities that I used to do before.
I was able to gain something from this pandemic, and I'm grateful. I'm still recovering, but it's one step at a time.
I get so confused, staring into the gloom of last week's due. How much longer do we go till we find normal?
Thank you so much. The testimonials are always so compelling. And I'm glad we had both representation from Putnam and from Westchester. So I see Atul very large on my screen. I think that means, so our partner, New York State Department of Labor, is getting back to their quote unquote normal activities. And Atul Sheppy, who's our regional manager for a number of career centers, one of our key partners, will give us a quick update on what New York State DOL is doing in a particularly exciting initiative.
Okay, sure. Hi, thank you, Tom. You can hear, everyone can hear me?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay, good. All right, so good morning. Like Tom said, my name is Atul Sheppy. I'm the local Department of Labor Career Center Manager for our centers located in Westchester, Putnam, and Bronx counties. So during 2020, our Department of Labor Career Center staff were all reassigned and dedicated to assisting the Department of Labor's unemployment division with low-tier unemployment claims and PUA functions, pandemic unemployment assistance functions. It was a very hard pivot, but the Department of Labor staff did great. The staff are now transitioning back to normal duties. As such, we now have more Department of Labor staff available to resume employment services functions as the state continues to vaccinate residents and reopen. The pandemic accelerated the development of many new and updated technologies for which we are really excited. One of which is our new virtual career center site. This new technology will enable our employment counselors and staff to be more precise in helping with career change recommendations, job search activities, and will give them the tools they need to monitor customer activities through a dashboard rather than requiring customers to travel to the office. Job seekers can build their profiles within the dashboard using AI technology. The platform will match them with job opportunities that fit their skills, even if it's in another industry. The dashboard will also help employers recruit employees by serving up candidates that fit the job descriptions, enabling employers to be more efficient and also expand recruiting capabilities and consider job seekers from other industries as well. The virtual career center site, it's in a multi-phase rollout. So right now, it's been in operation since April and May. The first phase is inviting job seekers who have the capability, internet capability, and join up for self-service functions. Since May 10th, we have invited about 50,000 job seekers. More than 60% of these were opened up by the job seeker. Over 5,000 of these created an account on the profile. More than 50% of the job seekers when they created the profiles, they uploaded their resume. About 1,100 users have now clicked and applied for jobs within the system. Department of Labor will continue to invite additional job seekers in the coming weeks and is targeting for a full rollout and getting all of the staff, businesses, and customers involved. And that final phase is expected for fall 2021. In the interim, Department of Labor has really accelerated its other virtual services. So for right now, all of the staff are able to help customers virtually, giving one-on-one reemployment services, either through the phone or through video, helping with job search and career counseling. We developed a statewide system of monthly workshops to help reintegrate the public or UI recipients back into work, helping them with interview techniques, career counseling, etc. And finally, virtual services, we're helping businesses, working with businesses to market and recruit their openings via our new virtual job and career fair system. We're within our region, we're up to over 60,000 job seekers and growing. I just want to thank everyone for their flexibility and understanding during this pandemic, during the past 15 months. And we look forward to the hard work ahead of the reemployment phase. Thank you.
Thank you, Atul, and thanks to all of the New York State DOL staff for working with us on even closer than we were before. So we have these challenges that are upcoming, but we're looking forward to continue our collaboration. And before the county executives or their reps speak, and I know Deputy County Executive from Westchester, Ken Jenkins, is on. I believe County Executive Latimer is on either by video or phone. We'll find out. And Mary Ellen Odell, Putnam County Exec, I'm checking on. So before we get to them, I just want to recognize again Chair David Singer, who has a word about our board members.
Thank you, Tom. You know, what you said before really resonated when you talked about this crisis, you know, probably breaking down a lot of barriers between agencies. I remember 9/11 had a very similar effect in security, with FBI talking to police and people coordinating on another level, which basically changed the way we do security. So hopefully we have a similar effect long-term from this, that there's a benefit at the end of all of this. So good point, Tom. But I'd like to just quickly, I didn't have the advantage of creating a slideshow, but you had all the, you've got to meet our wonderful.
I have a slideshow for you.
Oh, you do? Excellent.
Yeah.
But you had, well, I wanted just to draw attention to the board, and there you go. Thank you. And the executive committee. So what you're seeing here is our executive committee, and these guys are the ones that really spend a lot of time, all a volunteer effort. Nobody gets paid to be on the executive committee, and no one gets paid to be on the board. These people are really doing this out of just commitment. So I was going to read their names. So thank you, Sherry. You just saved everyone about 5 minutes. But these are them. And I just really, it's important. I mean, pre-COVID, we would show up in the rain and the snow, 8 o'clock meetings, and really care about what we're trying to accomplish. And then through COVID, of course, we were doing it from our living rooms and porches, but we kept in contact, and we keep it going. And everybody on this committee is a volunteer and works really, really hard. So you see all the professional support we get and all the initiatives that, you know, Tom really takes control of, but the board is extremely engaged, and the county is lucky to have them. I also want to just point out we got some new members that I wanted to recognize, which is these two folks right here. Jan, who was the executive director of Westchester Nonprofit. Jan has a long career in the nonprofit space as an expert in this space, and we're really excited to have her expertise now on our panel and our board to guide us in hopefully guiding nonprofits in the right direction and getting funding where it belongs. Then I also want to, of course, welcome back Lawrence Gottlieb. We missed him dearly. Lawrence is, we call him Larry. He now is running the science and biotech initiative at Robert Martin. He's been a public policy leader, communicator, huge asset to this whole Hudson Valley. He was the CEO, was the director of the economic development. His resume is huge, so I don't want to keep reading it, but he's a great asset to have us. And then finally, I have to just draw attention. Oh, Leonard, thank you. Another new board member. Thank you for the slide. I was about to skip Leonard, so I'm glad I didn't. But we needed, you know, we always like to have representation from government and agencies, and Leonard's been, you know, a valuable asset to us. I just want to quickly draw attention to the loss of Rosa Barksdale. Rosa was on the board for many, many issues. On the board when I started on the board, was a huge influence on me. I don't have to tell you that a woman of her age, obviously growing up in the era that she grew up in, to become a female business owner, African-American female business owner during the times which she obviously grew up in, you know, says it all. So I don't have to say anything more than that. She was a great influence, and we're going to miss her dearly. So with that, Tom, I'll kick it back to you.
All right, David, thank you for your leadership. Again, as the chair and the board has been really engaged, as David said, and will continue to be during this really challenging time. And for the benefit of the county execs, and County Exec Latimer will speak in a moment for Westchester, and DSS Commissioner in Putnam, Mike Piazza, will speak for the Putnam County Executive, Mary Ellen Odell, who was just called away. So, but Mike is going to step in and talk a little bit about the Pathways Pledge. But what I said at the top of our meeting today was that we're really at a crossroads because the pandemic has created both opportunities and challenges for economic development, for workforce development. And the state recognized that the governor and the Reimagine New York Commission, by creating this New York State Pathways Pledge, which tries to address the so-called untapped workforce and to address, and particularly address the challenges for those who have traditionally had barriers to employment. And by that, we mean loosening the requirements for applying for a job, looking at alternatives to colleges and promoting and explaining those to people in high school and college, and doing things to really address the needs of the workforce at this time when things are going to change very quickly. So reforming talent recruitment, updating curriculum, implementing new training, promotional policies for more career opportunities. That's what the state is doing, and that's what we're going to do, both here in Westchester and in Putnam. And we're going to get businesses and not-for-profits and educational institutions involved, and to talk just a little bit about what that means, and then we're going to follow up over the course of the year. It's my honor to introduce the Westchester County Executive, George Latimer, who has led all of us in Westchester in the Department of Social Services under the leadership of Leonard Towns, the new commissioner, and the Workforce Board. We're all sort of integrated in different ways, but we're under the leadership of both our county execs. And for Westchester, it's County Exec Latimer. And George, thank you for being on with us.
Tom, thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be with you. And we also have Ken Jenkins, our Deputy County Executive, with us. And I want to extend our friendship to our friends in Putnam County, Mike, who's on the line, and Mary Ellen Odell, my counterpart as Putnam County Executive. Tom basically laid out perhaps what is the overarching external element of this, which is the Westchester-Putnam Pathways Pledges. And I don't need to go over the basics that he just covered. But what we're looking to do is to ask businesses, educators, not-for-profits to register, to make a commitment as part of a year-long campaign, and then take a specific action. And those specific actions will help try to identify jobs that are available for those individuals that have great difficulty getting a job, whether it's writing a job description for a summer intern, writing a job description for a part-time youth job, a training plan that might help the existing workforce have some skill sets that would expand, reaching out in any number of different ways in employee recruitment, to help hire a person who has a disability, a number of alternative recruiting methods. All of those things, represent the challenge that we would be committing to under the Pathway Pledge. And for those of us who are in government service, we have certain expectations and requirements that we will do these things, and we will look to seek out candidates who otherwise would not be considered for public employment. But we need that to happen in the private sector. And I spent 20 years of my life before I got involved in government, in corporate life. And there is the possibility of having those kinds of jobs open. So we hope the Pathway Pledge is a concrete way to make those things happen. Look, we've just been through a year and we're not quite done yet. That's been amazing and incredible for all of us. None of us had a roadmap of how we were going to handle this, not in business, not in the not-for-profit world, not in the clergy, not in government, at any level of government. And we've each tried in our own way to address the problem day by day with each of the different issues. It appears that we're now lifting our way out of this, and the numbers are good and the vaccination numbers are high. And certainly in Westchester, we've been very fortunate and we have low infection numbers. But getting back to normal is not a snap of the fingers. And for a lot of people who have had difficulty being employed under the best of circumstances, these are now not yet the best of circumstances again. But it will take cooperation. The county government working through this organization under Tom's leadership will try to be good partners. And just as we're partners over the dotted line between Westchester and Putnam, so we have to be good partners in the different types of employment opportunities that are there, from the public to the private to the not-for-profit sector. So, Tom, thanks for an opportunity to say hello. Thank you for participating today. Moreover, thank you for all the work that you do all year long.
Thank you so much. And again, thank you for participating. But more importantly than just today, I just want to say, because I don't know if you're here right at the beginning, but I did specifically mention the workforce task forces that Bridget Gibbons, as the Director of Economic Development, has established. It's really a way to integrate economic development and workforce development, working with our business organizations, who you'll hear from in a moment. And it's really been a great collaboration. So again, thank you for today, but more importantly for your leadership year round. So thank you, George.
Thank you, Tom.
And so Mary Ellen Odell, the Putnam County exec, was called away, but fortunately Mike Piazza, our longtime collaborator as the DSS commissioner in Putnam, will say a couple of words about how the Pathways Pledge will benefit the local workforce in both counties.
Thank you, Tom. On behalf of County Executive Mary Ellen Odell, who could not be here today, first of all, I wanted to share with her appreciation to County Executive George Latimer, and for the collaboration that the good collaboration we've had for over 20 years, probably counting now 24 years, we've had with Westchester County and the Workforce Development Board. Would like to thank Tom and all his staff in Westchester, the board, and especially our staff in Putnam County for all the work they have done in the face of all the difficult times in the last year and a half for the people who need services in Putnam County, and for the region as a whole. And also, she asked me to express her excitement, that Putnam County's excitement to participate in the Pathways Pledge, because it gives everyone at every level an action step they can take to improve the quality of life of our residents. When we expand the workforce by being more inclusive and provide relevant training, we make our employers stronger and ultimately make our economy stronger at all levels. The list of action items in the Pathways Pledge form includes both small and large actions, as we recognize that there are employers and educators of varying sizes. For a solopreneur, it can be quite a large commitment to write a job description for hiring one person. For a small business owner who wears many hats and works long hours, developing an internship program would be a very meaningful pledge. Our larger employers may have more resources and capacity, but also more institutional bureaucracy to overcome to activate change. And these are important issues in Putnam County. It's all about our collective mindset to take the conversations and lessons learned and commit to action. The benefits will take time to realize. This is a long-term initiative that is not going to yield immediate results. But by all of us pledging to take some time and some form of action, we will move our counties in a direction that will not only be more inclusive, but economically strong. Please join us in this very important campaign, and we're pleased to be part of it.
Thank you so much, Mike. Greatly appreciated, and our thanks to the county exec too that you could pass along, and again to the Putnam County staff. Thank you as well. And Sherry has put the link to the form that you just saw on the screen in the chat box. So, you know, even if you're not directly going to participate, go on and click on that and just save it, and you can pass it along to your business associates, to anybody who you think, you know, educators, anybody you think might be able to take advantage. It really is, there's no penalty for signing up, and then, you know, if you can't complete it, it's just an opportunity to become involved. So we encourage you just to click on that, save it, share it, and we'll obviously do our part to get that word around. And to assist us in doing that, we have 3 leaders in Westchester County who you all are familiar with. The 2 leaders of our business organizations, Marcia Gordon for Business Council of Westchester, and for the Westchester County Association, our workforce partner there, Jason Chapin, and for the not-for-profits, Jan Fisher. All of them are members of our board. They're all our inaugural members of our Pathways Pledge team that are going to try to engage their stakeholders as well. And each of them will just say a couple of words about what that means. So First, our longtime board member, Marcia Gordon, if you could say a couple of words.
Absolutely, Tom. Thank you so much. I'm so proud to be on this Workforce Investment Board, and it has been a long time, and we've accomplished so much over the years. And the Business Council of Westchester is proud to represent Westchester's vibrant business community with over 1,000 members ranging from every major corporation to large institutions, over 140 not-for-profits, entrepreneurs, and many, many, many small businesses that make up the fabric of the Westchester and New York and actually United States economy. We work for economic opportunity for everybody. We work strategically to advocate and to create economic development. And then we work for the profitability of our members. And we know that if businesses are profitable, the community does well, and the communities as well, businesses are profitable. And during the pandemic, we became the information resource and the advocate and the connector for business. And we certainly have a long history of supporting workforce development, particularly over many, many years, working with many young people to enhance their skills and find jobs for young people and interns. We were so pleased this year that the Workforce Development Board joined with us as a co-sponsor of our anti-racism series, which we began last July, and provided 8 webinars, and as well as our very well-received diversity conference. And those together with your assistance got thousands and thousands of people from across New York State and beyond educated. And so now we're especially excited to take this very important action step by encouraging our members to participate in this really, really important Pathways Pledge campaign. And we pledge to help promote this pledge by reaching the goal of 250 businesses. So thank you for this opportunity. We are absolutely on board.
Thank you again, Marcia. And Jason Chapin, Director of Workforce for the Westchester County Association, among other things. So Jason, thank you.
I'm not sure where Jason is.
Okay.
Yeah.
No problem. So just in a word, Westchester County Association has really taken a lead in workforce development because Jason, in part, because Jason is now an active member of our board and also hired specifically for that purpose, primarily for that purpose at the Westchester County Association. So he's.
Oh, here he is. Here he is.
Oh, all right. Jason, I'll dispense with your longer introduction.
Is he frozen?
So I'll continue with this.
Oh, okay, sorry.
That's okay. So Jason, one thing that I don't think I did mention earlier, but maybe briefly. So Jason has formed the Talent Consortium, which is workforce development professionals, staff from Westchester-Putnam and Rockland, who gather once a month, similar to what Pattern for Progress is doing with the 9 counties in the Hudson Valley region. And there's a lot of sharing of information centered on workforce development, best practices, et cetera. So in a word, what Westchester County Association is doing is really important. It's I'll just say, Marcia's, I'm looking at Marcia and saying, you know, the Westchester County Association, the Business Council, has a very healthy competitive relationship that benefits all economic development and workforce. Now is, you know, they're all stepping up to be partners in this effort, and that's really great for all of us and are, again, members of our board. So in a word, Jason will also be promoting the pledge with the WCA members, and we appreciate that effort. And finally, Jan Fisher, who is a new member of our board, but not new to most of those on this call, as the head of Nonprofit Westchester, will address the issues related to nonprofits in this effort.
Thank you so much, Tom. It's really an honor to join the board. Since 2012, Nonprofit Westchester has been the unified single voice for the nonprofit sector. During the past year and a half, we offered hundreds of hours of technical assistance and more than 50 workshops to support the nonprofit workforce and the overall workforce. Our collaborations with business and government sectors strengthens Westchester for all people. The pandemic illuminated the vital importance of NPW. We served a critical role in supporting our members to provide essential services and played a pivotal role in launching Westchester's first Center for Racial Equity, an initiative that began way before the pandemic. NPW also recognized the workforce crisis our members were experiencing, and we partnered with WCA to address challenges surrounding immediate hiring needs. NPW created an online job board of the local opportunities on our website. We recognize the importance of taking action together, and we pledge our support for this very important campaign and helping to reach the goal of 250 businesses. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Jan, thank you so much. And I just saw a flash of Jason's picture. So Jason, if you're on, just say hello. I did, I think, give your remarks, but you can just so everybody sees you if you're still on. I know you're having.
Yep, I'm here.
Okay, so we said you're doing great things for workforce. Is there anything else you want to add to that other than you're going to promote this Pathways Pledge?
Yeah, we're definitely behind the Pathways Pledge, and we'll ask all of our members and partners to join as well. And the big focus now is on the economic and jobs recovery, and we're very happy to have launched this spring the the training consortium, which is about 25 colleges and BOCES and career centers and other partners who have created one place for employers from Westchester-Putnam and Rockland to come to access all of the students and job seekers that we work with. And we've been doing great presentations with them and helping a lot of people and businesses at the same time to boost the economic recovery. And the last thing I'll say is at our Workforce Summit this year, we did focus on diversity, equity, and inclusion. One of our featured speakers covered the issue eloquently, and we got a great response. So this is a hot topic, and we're totally committed to doing our part.
Thank you, Jason and WCA and Jan and Marcia. So we're going to work with all of those countywide organizations. And also, I mean, initially we set a goal of 250 to businesses to be involved with this, 50 educators, as you can see. But you know, we really do encourage all of you. There's 100 of you who have been kind enough to join this call. And if there's any suggestions as to who we should reach out to in terms of businesses that we might not have had prior engagement with, or educational institutions, or educators themselves, then just pass that information along and we'll send them this. You have the link in the chat, and again, feel free to share that. It's really, I guess you could say in a way, it's an excuse to enlarge our universe of those who we touch. So it really is something that is intended to be shared. It's intended to really just get engagement. The specific things that you know we're asking businesses to do in terms of loosening requirements for applications or expanding opportunities for credentialing and apprenticeship programs, things like that. The specifics are less important than the engagement in a way. We just, as you can see by what's on the screen, you know, there are a number of opportunities for people to be involved, and there's really no thing that's too small, because frankly, we want small businesses that may not have the resources of some of our larger ones to participate as well. So there's an opportunity to just say, hey, you know, I'm going to create a new program for a particular employee I have to expand their training opportunities. There's really no limit. So it's meant to be flexible. And I think the state's model is that's true for the state's model as well. I think we're actually close to time, but I wanted, was Bridget able to join us? Bridget Gibbons is the Director of Economic Development for Westchester, who I've mentioned a couple of times. She did have a IDA meeting today. So I just want to mention what she was going to talk about briefly, which is simply that there's something called the Skills Magazine, which has been released that looks like this, or it looks like that. That's even better. And it talks about workforce development from a number of different perspectives. If anybody is, and it features Charlene Manning from our staff and others, our educational opportunities, and many of our partners. So if anybody has not seen it and wishes to, then just email us or put your name in the chat, and we'll get a copy to you. We do have enough to send around, and just put your actually, we can do it by email too. So if you want to just put your email in the chat, then we can get that to you. I did want to recognize, before we close the program, one of our former employees, Allison Jones, is on. And Allison, we just want to take an opportunity. You were featured in one of our slides if you were not on earlier, but we wanted to thank you for your service to all of Westchester and to the board and career center. So thank you, Allison. And I know this is not scripted, but if Commissioner Towns is still on, are you on, Leonard?
Sir.
You know, we did put your picture up earlier as the new commissioner, but I just wanted to say one quick thing, which is we had a managers meeting yesterday, and the commissioner spoke to many of us, and it was just really compelling and really emotional what he had to say. And Leonard, if you wanted to just say hi to everybody, even though you've been on the board as the deputy commissioner, you're now the DSS commissioner, really committed to integrating workforce and career development to everything else that DSS does. So if you want to just say hi, please do that.
Well, thank you, Tom. Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here with you all. And Tom, thank you for the comments about yesterday. Yeah, there's a lot of work to be done. And as Tom had said earlier, you know, while we've been challenged by the pandemic, it has created opportunities to look at how we do business and plan during this phase. Right now, it feels like to us the calm before the storm, because a lot of things are on hold, and we expect things to change as we come out of this pandemic. There's things involved with waivers that have been in place that are going to go away on the DSS side, and we expect more customers to come back in. And I've been working with the career team, the career center team, Tom and OJ, and the family investment team here at DSS to work on how we can collaborate to meet the needs of the population that we serve. We know some of the mandates of WIOA, and we're focusing on building in more services to meet the needs of the customers. We're in an interesting position as a social service department because we have people who have been through a lot of trauma. They're in situations where they're trying to get on their feet, and we're trying to stabilize households so that we can then prepare them for employment and move them to the next stage. So these are things we're focusing on, looking to move forward. We've got Liz Oliveto working with our family investment team on a youth initiative to work with customers who have children on public assistance to help them start seeing a different future based on, you know, their current circumstances. They're in a household where family members are struggling, but we want to change the future for them by giving them opportunities now. So it's really going to be an exciting time for us to really dive in and do great work. And I'm looking forward to continuing my work with the board and just being a part of it, all the changes that are happening. And I thank you for the time, Tom, and calling me to the podium.
Oh, good. No, thank you for jumping on with no notice, Leonard. He wasn't told, but it's really you know, I'll just say one last thing about DSS. In the meeting yesterday, it was shared that, you know, DSS has $653 million budget and 1,114, I believe, or 104 employees. So we're, the Workforce Board, the Career Centers are a relatively small part in terms of raw numbers of that really larger, huge universe. But they have a huge mission. And the important thing is, as the commissioner said, they really consider us, all of us on this call, the board, the staff, to be a really important part of their mission. And that's been true before with Kevin McGuire, the commissioner that preceded Leonard, but it is particularly true now with Leonard and his senior staff. And we're going to take advantage of that. And one other thing that, Mike in Putnam, this applies to Mike in Putnam too, but I will just share one other thing that Leonard shared with all of us because he shared it on that call, and that was that, this is a particularly auspicious moment for us in the county of Westchester too, because of the collaboration that goes on countywide. And we got to take advantage of that. So that's what our mission is going to be at this critical time. We have actually minus 1 minute to get you all out of here at 10. But if there's anything else that anybody feels compelled to share other than what you put into the chat, and we'll try to follow up with those for the Skills Magazine. And
yes,
that also is not scripted, but I was honored to be in a on the inside page with Marcia, member of our board, and Bridget, and on the cover with State Senator Majority Leader Anderson Cousins and Jamie McGill-Spano and Natasha Caputo, Director of Tourism, Jamie's Yonkers IDA. I can honestly say I'm not sure how I was part of that picture, but I was honored to be there. And that issue is available too. But there's a few people, inside this edition who we work with on a daily basis, which again speaks to the collaboration that's important for all of us. So that was very tricky, Sherry, but very nice. Thank you.
And Tom, you look great on that picture, sir.
Oh, Robert, you're the hospitality guy, so they're coming from you. It's very nice. So listen, before I hand it to David to close, just on behalf of our staff and our 4 career centers, Westchester and Putnam, we appreciate everybody taking the time to come on. We will follow up with you on the Pathways Pledge and other things, but for today, thank you so much for giving us your time today. So David.
Thank you. So again, I appreciate everybody's time and reiterate what Tom just said. I'm going to go run out now and I'm going to read this by the pool today. And it was great seeing everybody. Look forward to having a great summer. And I will take a motion to adjourn the meeting. Anybody?
So moved. So moved.
So moved. Second?
Second.
All right. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Everyone have a great weekend, great holiday, and thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Sherry.
Thank you.
Good job, Sherry. Thank you, Sonda.